Hello everyone, this is Flammy and welcome back. We got something special going on here today. As you might have seen in the title of this video, I have an interview here with the #1 currently ranked player in Clash of Clans. That's right, Jorge Yao is here on Skype with me to give some of his thoughts and impressions on Clash of Clans, what he does for it, and pretty much how amazing top-level play is and how different it is from what you guys experience. So, here we are, Jorge Yao.
Hey guys, what's up?
So, Jorge, why don't you tell me a bit about yourself, who you are in the Clash of Clans community, and sort of what being a top-ranked player means, just real briefly.
Okay. So my gamer tag in Clash of Clans obviously is Jorge Yao. Real name is Jorge Yao in real life, so same thing. 24 years old, have a steady job, and being in North 44 obviously, and will always be North 44. They're my family, and I love them.
So why don't you talk a little bit about the sort of top-ranked clans? Because, I mean, some of my followers who are watching this might actually not know what North 44 is, as scary as that sounds to you.
So top clans, obviously everyone, when they go on to top players or top clans list, they always want to join, a clan that's on there. Just name recognition, obviously. But I've always just followed North 44 since the beginning. I liked their shield, I liked their name, and I just followed them. So, and I was lucky enough to be able to join. They accepted me. I was actually probably the lowest 5 members in the clan when I first started, and they gave me a shot. So
you definitely come a long way. Speaking as we are now, what trophy count are you at in game roughly?
I believe I'm searching right now, but I believe 3953 is where I'm at right now.
3953. So, while we were talking before this, how many attacks have you done, and how many trophies did you go up?
In what time span?
In the last hour or 40 minutes that we've been talking.
The last 40 minutes, I've had 2 attacks, which is actually more than what I've been experiencing all night. Typically, right now, it's been, or all day, essentially, it's been probably 1 attack per hour.
1 attack per hour, guys. And so what are you doing for the rest of that time? Are you just sitting in your base building stuff?
No, I'm working. I have a very short attention span. I have no patience, so I need to be doing something on the side, or else I could not play this game.
So, Jorge, what are you doing when, for the rest of that hour, that you're not actually attacking someone? Are you just building troops in your base?
No, actually, my iPad, I like to call it a screensaver, because all I see is the magnifying glass floating around my screen for an hour. Once in a while, it will say, no matches, please try again, or retry, so I'll click that. But 99% of the time, it's just a floating magnifying glass on my screen.
So, you've had 2 attacks in this last while, and the entire rest of the time you've been searching?
Correct.
Wow, that's a different sort of game than what I'm experiencing down at 1,500 or so trophies. What is your current goal in game?
My current goal is to be the first person to reach 4,000 trophies.
4,000. So you're getting close, but did we talk about how many trophies you're getting per attack?
1. Always 1. If I'm lucky, 2, but 1.
1 trophy per attack. That's a bit of a slow grind there. So let's talk about sort of you and sort of your history with Clash of Clans. When did you first start playing?
I started playing right around, pay my respect to True King, when around the same time he hit 3,000, attack.
So that was in October sometime, if I'm not mistaken?
Correct, beginning of October. I'm actually in the middle of attack right now. 1 second, please. Okay, 50%, and I'm out. So, just went up by 1 cup. 39.54.
What are you doing right now? You're rebuilding your army?
Rebuilding my army, and it'll take probably around less than a minute.
So what does that involve? That involves queuing troops and then spending gems to speed them up, as well as spells and healing your heroes?
Correct. I typically don't use heroes. This last attack, as most of my attacks, if someone has been attacked by me, they can see the replay. I typically don't even use my clan castle troops or my heroes unless it's last resort. I typically am able to get 50% on any base with just 11 dragons and 4 lightnings. Usually 3 lightnings will do it, but 4 I hold. So, and now,
do you know how many gems that takes roughly? I know you probably don't pay that much attention to gems at your level.
I believe it's 10 gems to finish a dragon. Right as soon as you train it, I believe it's 10 gems per dragon. I believe, or maybe it's 10 gems for 3.
You don't really pay that much attention.
No, not really.
Not a problem at all. I understand. So going back to, are you ready to continue?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're searching again, I take it?
Yes.
Okay, so going back to when you first started, you actually started in October, so that means actually you've been playing for less time than I have.
Yes.
And so, guys, this is what sort of the life of a top-level player might look like, speeding up quite a little bit, going on right up to the top of the trophy leaderboards.
Right.
So, what was your first reaction when you hit the #1 spot on the leaderboards?
To be honest, I had more excitement hitting the leaderboards in general than I did hitting first place. I thought hitting first place was gratifying, but I knew that there's so much turnaround and turnover with the top 3 players that it's really not a goal where someone's really going to remember for the rest of Clash of Clans, which is why my goal now is to be the first to 4,000.
Interesting. So what were your previous goals?
So obviously previous goals, first was to join a top 3 clan, followed by entering the top players list, then top 20, top 10, top 3, #1, and now 4,000.
Well, you have to keep creating new goals for yourself going forward. That's pretty impressive what you've accomplished so far.
Thank you.
So let's move on to talk some more about gems. I'm sure that everyone listening to this is absolutely the most curious about gems. It's a very controversial and heated issue in Clash of Clans. The rest of us, we can play the game for free, and then there are some players who just drop lots and lots of money on the game. So to start off, how much do you think you've spent total on this game?
Total probably between $2,500 to $3,000.
So $2,500 to $3,000, somewhere in that range. Not keeping exact track?
Correct. But general ballpark, that I'm willing to bet that's pretty close.
So starting in October, how much per week do you think that works out to be?
I think that works out to be 200 or 250, I think, a week.
Interesting. So that's quite the tidy sum.
Yeah.
So, in the last update, was that how did that work out? How did that affect your gem spending habits?
That actually accounted for, I'm safe to say probably 80% of all the gems that I bought were for this last update.
So it's probably solidly $2,000 spent on this last update alone.
For sure. Just on this last update. Prior to that, it wasn't too much gem spending, mainly just for attacking. I wasn't as serious back then as I am now, obviously, with my goals. But this update really was the, breaking the bank.
So what was the turning point at this last update? What sort of rank were you at before?
I was always top 20 even before the update. I took a 1-week shield. Everyone did, essentially, knowing that the update was going to happen roughly around holiday season. So I took a 1-week shield when I was, I believe, 15 or 16. So I maintained, top 20, top 25. I did drop, up and down, but generally speaking, top 25, I would say.
So that actually sort of gives me some hope right there, that you say you were not very serious before the update, and you were still maintaining now 50 to 25 rank on the top players.
Right.
So I find that pretty impressive. How much were you spending per week before the update, maintaining that sort of rank?
I would say probably like $100 a week. It really depends on the week and how often I would attack. I'm a very cheap attacker, so I try to limit the amount of gems, obviously, I buy. So yeah, I would say probably around 100 a week, I would say.
What would be an example of like a not cheap attacker? Not a person, but just sort of the strategy.
So with the new update, obviously people notice, if you have a level 30 queen and a level 30 king, it takes 700 gems to heal both of them. Some attackers, they choose to use both those heroes every single attack, which is 700 gems per attack. I don't use my heroes at all. Essentially, unless it's last resort where I need to use them. But that's extremely costly, obviously, when you have to spend 700 gems per attack. And if you're a high-level cup like me, and you're moving up 1 cup at a time per battle, that's extremely costly if you're,
So
100
you're
batteries.
telling me you're spending currently, what was it, like $250-ish per week, and that's a cheap way to do it?
Yeah. To be
Wow,
honest.
that's pretty mind-blowing right there.
Yeah.
So that leads pretty well into this next question. This is a question from a fan on Reddit. So Dragon Reach asks, do you find it unfair that top players in the top clans are constantly getting gems from the weekly tournament, allowing no room for others to rise up and invoke actual competition?
I think that's a very funny question because if you do the simple math and logic, the 1,000 gems that you could potentially earn through every Sunday goes unnoticed for us top players because 1,000 gems, quite frankly, isn't even enough to fill half of my elixir storages. So, in my opinion, I am 100% advocate of changing that possibly and giving those gems to maybe the last 10 people in the top 3 clans instead of the first 10 people. That way, it gives the lower people in the top 3 clans an opportunity to move up within their clans, but it also rewards the top 3 clans for, being the top 3 clan.
That's an interesting suggestion. I'm sure you'll find a lot of fans online would just love to see that change go into action. But you guys heard it right there. So what I've been trying to say since I made my first gems video, you can't be in the top ones without spending a whole lot more than you're getting from the weekly tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Some people were thinking that if you save for a couple weeks, maybe you can pay for all the upgrades from the last update. But you know what? I don't think you could afford those that $2,000 you dropped in gems in the last update just from saving for a couple weeks.
Exactly.
So, something that's also on the top of people's minds about gems is there any ways to get discount gems, and what might they be?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously Supercell is aware of this trend where there are other websites out there that offer discounted gems. In terms of using them.
Hold on a second. So this is for any sort of iTunes purchases, so like in other games as well.
Correct. So this is a business run not solely just for Clash of Clans, but all apps that, have the option of in-app purchases. Obviously a lot of these sites, you can Google them and, some of them even have live chat and they're all overseas. They, ask for PayPal. There are a lot of people that do use the top players in some clans, as discounted methods of, getting gems, obviously. And it does work, I've yet to hear of anyone being kicked or being, caught for using this, so.
I'll explain how I think this process works for those of you who might be a little bit confused by this. So these people are probably taking advantage of differences in currency exchange rates for other countries. So you give them your iTunes account, and they purchase gems for you on your Clash of Clans account, but when they pay with their local currency, I don't know any examples, I don't know what sort of currencies they operate under, but they actually pay less in terms of the dollars if you're to convert into their local currency, which allows them to give you a discount in exchange for making a small profit for themselves. And then they give you back your iTunes account, and you've got your gems, and you can continue playing. Is that how it works to your understanding?
Correct. I mean, like I said, the logistics behind it, I'm not 100% sure, but generally speaking, that's how the process works.
And so if anyone listening is interested in doing this, what sort of minimum amounts of gems would they have to purchase in order to take advantage of these sort of discounts?
In any business cost structure, obviously, they want to, make sure that each transaction is worth the amount of, labor and covering their bottom line, essentially. So from just searching around, I think the lowest denomination I've seen is Supercell's $100 14,000 gem pack. Discounted, so that's probably the least amount you'll find.
Oh, that's interesting. Only if you want to buy at least $100 can you go through one of these guys. So, sorry guys, unless you're willing to drop that much money, you're probably out of luck here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not $100. It's $100 worth of gems, but you'll probably get it, obviously, at the discounted rate, so.
Yeah. Okay, then. I've got a couple random questions before we wrap this segment up.
Sure.
So, from Crazy King, what's it like at the top?
Boring. Very, very boring, which is why I found you on this forum today.
Indeed, and I'm glad you did. This has been a lot of fun. Also from Crazy King, a couple more questions, 2 more. How often are you on?
This week, a lot. This week alone, I've pulled 3 48-hour sessions.
48 hours in a row. So that's like a super all-nighter.
Correct. And that's 3 of them this week so far. And I'm currently in a 48-hour to 72-hour session right now to reach the 4K goal.
Wow. So how long have you been going right now?
So far I've been going on since 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it is 11:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 14 hours and 10 minutes so far.
Wow. So, of course, this begs the question, do you have a job?
Yes, I have a full-time job, which actually aids me in this game and allows me to, perform well. I work a 60 to 70-hour job, a week job, as a project manager, IT project manager. So when I'm searching, obviously I'm on my computer doing something work-related to, distract me or keep me busy while I'm playing.
So you're trying to say that actually having a job keeps you entertained while you're searching at work?
Correct.
Otherwise, you'd probably drive yourself nuts.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't even play the game or be competitive, to be honest. I just don't have the time to be able to 100% focus on Clash of Clans. So in essence, it's a love-hate thing. It's good in the aspect that it does take a while to search for a battle, so I can work on real-life work without much interruption. But then again, when I'm on my downtime and I don't feel like working, for instance now, it gets really boring.
So you're clearly not working much, probably out on a Friday evening at 11 whatever p.m.
Exactly.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, last question from Crazy King here is, what do you do when you've got a shield?
Typically, I end up breaking my shield before it actually runs out. A lot of people, obviously, if you play this game enough, you naturally tend to work your schedule around your shield times. So, typically speaking, I try to time it so that I can start attacking right when my shield ends. But typically speaking, I break my shield an hour or 2 hours before it actually ends. So.
Okay, then. We got a question here from Falls Creek. Did you max out before spending gems? What town hall do you think you were about at that point?
Around probably 6.
Okay, so you started spending gems more heavily around Town Hall 6. That sort of makes sense from if you started playing in October. That's not that long ago. I created an account a little bit after that, and I'm only Town Hall 7 now, so the power of gems right there.
Exactly.
Okay, a question from Apits. How has your love for Clash of Clans evolved as you continually spend large amounts of money?
It's a domino effect, to be honest, and it's a very good question because I wasn't very invested in this game until I started joining, I joined North 44, a top 3 clan, because when you're surrounded by an environment of competitive players, you're naturally you don't want to be the weak link. So obviously if they're spending gems to compete and make the clan better in score, you're going to follow in suit. So it really just depends on your clan and how far you're willing to go. I think, being in North 44 has a huge impact on how competitive I am and how much money I've spent, but, not in a negative, obviously, way, but,
Okay, that wraps up our fan questions, but I've got a couple before we wrap this up here. What has been your worst misclick?
My worst misclick. The funny thing is, I don't know if Shady knows this, but I had him revenged, and by accident, I forgot my spells, so I had to end the battle, create spells, and hopefully get him again, but he was long gone at that point.
So your misclick was you didn't build spells before clicking revenge, and by the time you hit revenge, he was back online? Or had a shield?
Yeah, so I randomly clicked revenge. I don't know if he was disconnected or something, and this was when Shady was, I think, 3,800 and had a 200 cup lead. I clicked revenge and didn't think that I was going to actually be successful.
You were just testing it.
Was. Yeah, exactly. I was testing it and ended up being successful, and didn't have
side attack because you couldn't do it without the spells.
Exactly. So I had no choice but to give that up.
That's a sad misclick. It makes my accidentally deploying guys to when I'm trying to get 1250 trophies look pretty mild by comparison.
Yeah, when it's Shady and yeah.
So another question from me is, what is your funniest Clash of Clans moment?
Funniest Clash of Clans moment. It actually happened recently. I think it was earlier this week. I fell asleep in the middle of searching because I was just tired. Finishing a long session. I wanted one more attack, and I dozed off while searching. Little do I know, I wake up in the middle of middle of a battle with 1 minute left, and I'm just all groggy, waking up and just throwing spells around, throwing dragons around. I ended up losing the battle at 46%, but because I ran out of time. And the ironic thing is, the person that I attacked was actually a friend of mine who I knew, and so when she saw the replay, she was laughing hysterically because for the first minute and a half, there was nothing on the screen, no troops, nothing. And then all of a sudden, just crazy things started happening, and that was pretty funny.
Did you give you a hard time for that one?
Yeah, she did.
I think you probably deserved it, but that's a pretty funny one. I've definitely fallen asleep while playing Clash of Clans, but probably not in that high tense situation.
No, and she appreciated the 39 cups that I gave her.
There you go. Ouch, that hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
So you even lost it on top of it.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay then, final question from me is, what's the best reaction in general chat?
Best reaction? You're my hero. You're my idol. I get that a lot.
What do you think about that sort of stuff?
To be honest, I mean, I think I'm a normal person who's just as addicted as the next person to this game. And I'm flattered, but I don't consider myself a hero. I don't consider myself an idol. I just consider myself a gamer who just happens to, do well in this game.
Wonderful way to end it. Okay, Jorge, before we wrap it up, just wanted to ask you, do you have anything you want to say to general Clash of Clans players out there?
Yes, to all you Clashers out there, number one thing that I respect and that I believe in this game is clan loyalty. And be loyal to your clan and they're your family.
That's some great advice right there. I really like that. Running my own clan system, I can see the value of that every day. Before we wrap this up, do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, of course. I'd like to give a shout-out to Clan Holland. They've been assisting me out with my goal of reaching 4,000. Obviously, number one and foremost is North 44. Everyone in North 44, the leader, Levesters, Ahmed, Abu, everyone in there, as well as Clan Awakening. I have friends in there too, Tina, Reva, Crystal. Hey, what's up?
So, guys, thank you very much. Big thank you to Jorge Yao for this interview. We're going to have another one coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about advanced tactics for high-level players, their strategy, and as well as some advice for new upcoming players. So, thank you very much, everyone. This has been Flammy. Have a great day.